Hi everybody, I'm Origosis, and today we're going to be playing some Lifestream, a haunting text adventure. Prologue, Pathways. Father Randolph Halton was dead. Not literally, of course, but in his heart he knew he could not live on. Not after everything he had learned. Sitting at his dark oak desk in the corner of the dimly lit cozy study, the white-haired, frail Catholic priest, even frailer of late, dipped an old quill into a container of jet-black ink and began to write. Dear God, had Randolph known his research would come to this, he'd never have begun. His interest was gone, his time wasted, driven away by obsession and fear. The research controlled him now, though he supposed he was its willing victim. Randolph took a deep breath, held it as he removed the quill from the page, and read over his musings. His discovery hadn't been what he was expecting. He had to admit, but it was far greater than anything he could have imagined. Randolph slowly released his breath and continued to write. He felt an influx of emotion, joy, despair, love, and hate, all of it, all mixed into one uncontrollable sensation. Selfishness. He knew he was Selfishness, he knew, was his greatest trial, and also, if he were honest with himself, his utmost desire. Truly, he thought, this was both heaven and hell. But Randolph's great fear was yet to come. Putting aside his own selfish desires and will, his own sense of self, he knew the danger of his discovery could bring forth. For if knowledge of the life stream were to protrude further into the existent world, the world he knew and dearly loved, then he and everyone else on the planet was doomed. Doomed and damned for all eternity. That is, freaky looking face right there. Randolph put down the quill and felt the darkness surround him as tears of anguish and despair streamed down his worn face. God help me, he whispered. God give me strength. You wake with a start, gasping for air. A dream. It was only a dream. Your heart races as you glance at the clock. Nearly 4 a.m. Feels as though you've been sleeping forever. Looking around the sparse, quiet bedroom, you are reminded of your new-found solitude, and a sudden wave of sorrow hits you like a brick. You take several deep, steadying breaths. The soft patter of rain upon the room's lone window calms you, and your heartbeat begins to slow. He's still alive. He has to be. You feel hollow. Everything around you is meaningless. Nothing more than a void. Empty. Just like you feel inside. Though dizzy, you force yourself to sit up. You treasure sleep. It's one of the few times you can get away from the torment of your life of late. Feeling a headache begin to develop, you softly rest your elbows against your knees and bring your head down to your hands, deep in thought. Your father, Randolph, is a priest at a small parish church just outside of town. But 2 weeks ago he vanished, and no one has been able to find any trace of him since. Desperate for answers, you want to help the police with their investigation, but can't, for if word were to get out that Father Randolph has a son, his name would be ruined. Catholic priests, after all, are forbidden from sexual relations. His intimacy would constitute heresy. So instead you've waited alone, worried and helpless. You peer into a mirror across the room and see the reflection of a young 21-year-old man with short, dark blonde hair stare back at you, his eyes pleading and innocent. You have your father's features. Every time you view yourself, you are reminded of him. You have a hard time looking into mirrors these days. Sighing, you stand up and walk over to the room's lone, dark window, whereupon you rest your head and enjoy the sensation of its cool glass pressed upon your skin. You have always been close with your father, despite everything he gave his all to you, and to be without him now feels wrong. Everything about you, from your interests to your beliefs, was shaped by Father Randolph. He even chose your name, one with personal meaning to him, John, after his favorite apostle. I have to get away, you whisper to yourself. Go someplace where I can think. You open your eyes and raise your head, suddenly resolved to find some answers. You realize. Yes, that's it. You cannot stand idly by while your father is missing. You have to search for him yourself. And there's no better place to start than the home Randolph inherited, the house in which both you and your father grew up. If there are answers to be found, they will be there. You are sure of it. Determined, you leave immediately. You will find your father, and then everything will be right again. That might finish up the prologue. All right, yep, we got a GUI here. All right, front yard, present day. It is a misty morning, and the bright light of dawn shines down upon your face as you approach the grounds of your father's house. From beyond the thick white fog, nothing visible behind its fluid borders. The air smells crisp and clean, and a light breeze cools your skin from the sun's warmth. All right, select buttons below to continue. We have continue, we have grayed out directional. Let's see, we have a bag, an old photo of your father, Randolph Holton. You miss him very much. And equipped. Okay, interesting. We have a map. It just shows where we are. Okay, and I see it's going to link the various directions we go. Journal entries. Nothing I can click, so those must autofill in. And a rundown of what's happened so far. Score. Find your way into your father's house. And then some settings here. Music, achievements, credits, full screen mode. Alright. You pass through the squeaky front gate and proceed forward until you view the structure that lies ahead. A small two-story Victorian home, one you recognize so well. The answers you seek are here. You just know it. You quickly glance at the photo of your father in your pocket, your only tangible memory of him, and prepare yourself for the task ahead. All right. Got our first objective here. We got to find our way into the house. Oh, we are still going for easy. Please select your desired level of difficulty, easy or normal. Easy difficulty is recommended if you are new to interactive fiction and adventure games. Normal difficulty is recommended if you have prior experience with either of these genres. Yeah, we're going with easy, because story mode. You have selected easy difficulty. Objective notifications are currently on, but can be turned off at any time via the options menu. Do you want to activate the tutorial? Yeah, let's go through the tutorial. Welcome to Lifestream. This tutorial will provide you with an overview of the game's interface. The name of this place you are currently exploring is listed here. Front yard. When you enter a place, its description will appear here. As you interact with objects or people, descriptions of your actions will also appear here. This is where you will see the story progress. This text provides descriptions of places, objects, and actions. Choices. At certain times, the game will await your interaction. When this happens, choices will appear here. Simply choose one to move on. Let's try it now. Choose one of the options below. Choose me, or me, or me. Good work! By making choices, you will interact with the game world. Certain actions will award you points or achievements. Unlock all of the achievements to gain access to a special bonus scene. Ooh. This is the compass. Selecting an available direction will cause you to walk in that direction to a new place. Makes sense? By walking from area to area, you navigate through the game world. When using the compass, it is important to note that in each area you are always facing north. That's good to know. Some directions may only become accessible after completing certain actions, so check the compass regularly. If you are ever lost, don't worry, there is a map to guide you. More on this in a bit. Use item. This is the use item button. When you equip an item, an inventory item, its name will appear here. Okay. Selecting this button will allow you to attempt to use the equipped item in the game world. So far, everything you have seen is part of the Explore window, through which you can explore the game world. Other windows also exist which provide you with additional information. To open a window, you must select its icon on the left side of the screen. This is the Explore window, which is currently open. You will spend most of your time here. This icon opens your inventory. Items you collect will appear here, where they can be equipped and combined. This icon opens the map, which shows an overhead layout of all the places you have already visited. If you are ever lost, check here. This icon opens your journal. Here you will record any important information that may be worth consulting during your journey. Make sure to read new entries as you receive them. If you have unread entries, an exclamation point will appear on this icon. Oh, it's good to know. This icon opens your character screen. The image of the character you are currently playing as will appear here. Playing as will appear here. Okay. You can also view your current objective, progress, and score, as well as background on the game's story. The last icon opens the options menu. Here you can change game settings, view your achievements, and watch the credits. From here, you can also turn on and off objective notifications. When notifications are on, you are told when you receive or complete an objective. Alright. If you are an experienced gamer, you may want to turn objective notifications off for a greater challenge. No thanks. If you decide to exit the game, feel free to do so. Your progress will be saved automatically. Nice. That's all for now. Feel free to try out the interface and explore a bit. Don't worry. More help will pop up from time to time to guide you through the start of your journey. For now, why don't you take a look around the front yard and then head west to the pond. Oh, and a tip too. Nice. Alright, a thin pebble path surrounded by lawn leads north to the front porch of a small 2-story Victorian home. The grass of the front lawn is overgrown and clearly in need of trimming. The path itself runs alongside a small pond to the west. It's water clear and blue. To the east, it's water clear. Yeah, helps if I pay attention to commas, huh? To the east, along the side lawn at the base of the house, you see a wooden cellar door. Behind you lies the sturdy iron gate from which you entered the fenced grounds. All right. What do you wish to examine? Let's examine the iron gate behind us. The wrought iron gate is connected to a fence that surrounds the entire property. The fence is tall and quite sturdy. It has served your father well over the years, providing both privacy and security. You are lucky the gate wasn't locked, or else you would have had a hard time getting into the yard. The gate is open, providing passage into the morning mist. Examine something else. Let's look at the grass. The grass is clearly dry, as though it hasn't been watered in some time. The length of the overgrown lawn indicates many days of neglect. Ooh. What's that? That's odd. Dad's always been meticulous about trimming the lawn. Has he not been here in a while? Alright, so it recommended we head west to the pond, so let's do that. And let's just look at the map real quick. Yep, we're at the pond. Okay. You are standing near a small pond. Its water is crystal blue, and a light wind blows across its serene top, sending calming ripples towards you. Surrounding the pond are several thick, tall pine trees, and at their base a number of daisy-like flowers. Beyond, the mist thickens, creating an empty void. The front yard lies east. Alright, let's check out those flowers. You recognize the flowers from your youth. While they look like daisies, they are actually chamomile. Your father used to pick them fresh, dry them, and brew them in tea. Excuse me. And let's glance at those trees. The trees are green and lush. As a kid, you remember climbing them, sitting upon their branches and reading a book under the shade. The seclusion was enjoyable to you, as you've always preferred peace and quiet over the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Now the trees are much taller, and you are much older. And let's check out that water. You peer into the water and see your reflection, so like your father's. A sense of peace envelops you, and you take a moment to breathe in the fresh air and enjoy this tranquil spot. Several small pebbles and stones adorn the base of the pond. What do you want to do next? Pick up a stone, throw a pebble into the water. Let's throw a pebble. Remembering something you used to do as a child, you pick up a small pebble from the gravel and throw it into the water, watching the ripples as it skips across the pond. So let's pick up a stone. Is it going to be like one of those hollow stones with a key inside? Boom! You pick up one of the stones. Congratulations, you've picked up an item. It will now be stored in your inventory. Maybe you'll find a place to use it soon. Or maybe it's just a stone. When you pick up the stone, your score increased. You can view your current score by opening the character window. Let's see. Examine something else. Alright, let's head east back to the front yard. Journal entries none. We're back in the front yard. And let's see here. A small stone you picked up from the pond. It's surprisingly heavy. Oh, so it's not hollow. Alright, so let's head east. Side lawn. This is the east end of your father's house. Along the base of the house lies a large cellar door. You recall that the door leads north, down into the base. The door leads north, down into the basement. The door leads north, down to the basement. That sentence doesn't make sense to me. Next to this is a gas meter. The front yard lies west. An old wooden shed sits at the edge of the lawn to the east. So if I go in here, I can equip the stone. And I can use the stone on something. Well, let's examine everything. Cellar door. The strong wood of the cellar door prevents passage into the basement. Its handles are linked together by several thick chains, most likely to keep out intruders. Force open the cellar door. Let's examine something else first. Gas meter. This gas meter controls the flow of natural gas to and from the house. The shutoff valve is sealed. Okay. And shed. The small wooden shed is old and worn. You can see water damage along its edges, and the exterior emits the faint but distinct odor of mold. The shed doors are locked via a small padlock around their handles. I bet you we could use that stone to knock off that padlock. Force open the shed doors, examine the padlock. Let's see if we can force open the doors. You attempt to force open the shed doors, but they prove to be surprisingly resistant. Examine the padlock. In order to unlock the shed, you must solve a puzzle. In this case, you must find the proper combination to the padlock. Oh, really? Okay. You already have everything you need to figure out the combination. See if you can solve the puzzle. I do? Interesting. The steel padlock looks sturdy. One glance tells you it can't be forced open. The locking mechanism is unusual, however, in that it does not feature numbers, but instead a series of 6 letters. If you want to unlock it, you'll need to figure out the proper combination. I already have everything I need? Holton. Holton, maybe. Holton. That was... I don't know, was that... That feels like a random guess. I mean, what did I have that really informed me that was going to be the combination? I mean, I got it, and I'm happy I figured it out, but I feel like nothing really informed me or tipped me off that that might be the combination, besides just thinking, oh, there's 6 letters, let me try it. Upon entering the last letter, you hear a small pop as the padlock releases its bolt. Proud to have figured out the combination, you pull off the padlock and throw it to the ground. The doors to the shed easily swing open. Alright. You can now travel east. Great job solving the puzzle. Now that you have unlocked the shed, notice that a new direction is available. You may now travel east. Awesome. Alright, well, I think after solving our first puzzle and getting through some of the tutorial and some of the intro and the prologue and everything, this is a good spot to cut it off. So, thank you all for viewing, and I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.